In this video, we are going to talk about motivation and how football players might set up an appropriate motivational strategy. Motivation is defined as the direction and intensity of players' effort. But today we are going to consider just the directional component. There are two types of motivation. Here we have external and internal motivation. External motivation is when a player gets motivated by such external stimuli as salary, trophies, or prestige of a club he plays or will be playing for. In contrast, internal motivation is when a player wants to be better than he is at the moment. In other words, internal motivation is a constant strive for self-improvement. Being internally motivated has been proven to be an essentially better approach. Let's take a look at one interesting example. At one university there have been two teams that demonstrated very similar performances. It was a 4-star performance out of 5 for each team. Then suddenly the first team was provided with a scholarship, so they started to get paid for their play. And this didn't affect the performance of the first team, where they still demonstrated the 4-star performance. Finally, the scholarship was withdrawn again and the performance of the first team dropped significantly to only 2 stars. This happened because the players started to depend heavily on external stimuli. Their internal motivation wasn't the priority anymore. During all this time, the performance of the second team remains unchanged. This example demonstrates that switching to external motivational aspects might be very dangerous. Being internally motivated is a skill that has to be developed in a progressive manner from early childhood. For example, if we mark having fun with the blue color and self-development with the red color, then during childhood a player should devote around 80% to simply having fun by playing football, and only 20% to self-development. During adolescence this proportion should be already 1-to-1. And finally, adult players should devote 70% of their football time to self-development in each of 4 performance components. Adopting external motivation also makes it very difficult to cope with defeats. Players with external motivation tend to blame referees, bad weather, and other unrelated circumstances in their defeats. In contrast, internally motivated players use bad results as additional information for further improvement. Okay, to sum up, try to use your time appropriately to become better at each of performance components. When it comes to a match, give every single effort to win that match. But do not be too depressed or extremely happy about the result. It's not whether you win or lose, but how you play the game. And finally, try to critically analyze your actions during a match to identify weak areas for further improvement. Just remember, you have to compete with yourself, even if there is no one else who evaluates your performance.